Good day, everyone. I'm here with my group mates to discuss the topic that assigned to us. But before that, allow us first to introduce first ourselves. By the way, I am Erica Gina Jacob from BEd 2B.
And I am Kimberly Driz.
I am Baby Joy Celino.
This is Jewel Rivera Eleptico. Before we proceed to our main topic or to our main discussion, let's do first this activity para mas magkaroon pa tayo ng kaalaman and ideas patungkol sa topic na ating itatakol for today. So, we prepare these jumbo letters. Ang kailangan nyo lang gawin is to arrange these letters para makabuo kayo ng isang word. So, let's proceed. Ito ang ating unang jumbo letters. What do you think is the answer in this? Tama. Ang sagot dito is the solar system. Okay? Let's proceed to number 2. What do you think is the answer in number 2? Tama. Ang sagot naman dito is planet. Ngayon, let's proceed to number 3. What do you think is the answer? Tama. Ang sagot dito is sun and moon. Okay, so now I know that you have ideas about what topic we are going to tackle for today. So now we have Miss Erica Jacob to discuss about our solar system.
So, for today's lessons, we will be discussing about our solar system. So before we proceed on the proper discussions, this is the learning objective. At the end of the lesson, the student should able to describe the relationship between the planets in our solar system and the sun. Second, recognize the major characteristics of all planets and compare the properties of inner and outer planets. And lastly, explain how solar systems are formed. So what is in our solar system nga ba? Our solar system consists of our star, the sun, and everything that's bound to it by gravity. The 8 planets, dwarf planets such as Pluto, dozens of moons, and millions of asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. Beyond our own solar system also, we have discovered thousands of planetary systems orbiting other stars in the Milky Way. And it takes our solar system about 230 million years to complete one orbit around galactic center because our solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way galaxy at about 515,000 mph or 828,000 km per hour. In our solar system also, we have the inner planets and the outer planets. And when we say inner planets, it is the planets that small and rocky planet that is closest to the sun. The Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. They are made up mostly of rock and metal. They are heavy. They move slowly in space and have a diameter of less than 13,000 kilometers. While outer planets are those planets that made up of mostly of gases. That's why it is also known as gas giant. It is the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Outer planets also are very light for their size. They move quickly in space and have a diameter of 49,000 kilometers or greater. So, the first planet we have is the Mercury. So how did Mercury was formed? Mercury was formed out through solar nebula, in which it formed out through the disk of gas and dust that swirled around the sun as the sun was gravitationally collapsing down into the star. That's why the planet revolved so quickly around the sun that it was given the name of the fastest god. Mercury also is the innermost of the 8 planets in the solar system and the smallest planet in the solar system. But its orbit has the highest eccentricity among the 8. And when we say eccentricity, It is the deviations of the path of an orbiting body from a true circle. Dahil alam natin na ang rotation ng Mercury was very strange. So why Mercury is the smallest planet and not the Pluto? Because Pluto is not a planet. It is a dwarf planet. That's why Mercury is the smallest planet. Mercury also has a diameter of 4,879.4 km, wherein it is only 38% of the Earth diameter because of its extremely slow rotations, and Mercury has no appreciable equator bulge as found on the other planets. And if we want to calculate the radius of Mercury, we just need to divide its diameter in half. So, the diameter of Mercury was 4,879.4. So, we can divide by its half. We can get 2,439.7. Thus, the radius of Mercury was 2,439.7. Another also, Mercury has a global magnetic field and second hottest planets in solar system. So why it is second and not the first who is hottest? It's because Mercury has no way of trapping the heat that is generated by the sun. Since Mercury has almost no atmosphere because it is small size, hindi kaya ng gravity niya to hold down a normal atmosphere. That's why it leads to have both hot and cold weather. That's why it is the second hottest planet. Next is its rotation. Because the rotations of Mercury was very strange. It rotates once every 58.65 days, which is exactly 2/3 of its orbital period of 87.970 days. So it turns on its axis exactly 1.5 times during one of its years, causing the stars to move 1.5 times around the sky each year.
Also,
Mercury has no moons. For a brief time in 1974, Mercury was thought to have a moon, but it turned out to be misinterpreted data from a star. So why Mercury doesn't have moon? It is because it was harder to keep them in a stable orbit because of its small gravity and orbits. That's why Mercury has no moon. So next, the second planet is Venus. So how Venus got its name? Venus derived its name from the Romans who religiously followed the Greek tradition. It is also the Roman versions of the Greek goddesses Aphrodite, the Roman and Greek goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, and therefore the planet Venus was named after her. In Romance, it is Venus. In Greek, it is Aphrodite. And in Babylonian, it is Ishtar. Venus is the second planet from the Sun, and it is the second brightest object in the night sky after the Moon because it is blanketed by highly reflective clouds. The clouds in the atmosphere of Venus contain droplets of sulfuric acid, as well as acidic crystal suspended in a mixture of gases. Light bounces easily off the smooth surfaces of these spheres and crystals. Sunlight bouncing from this cloud is a big part of the reason that Venus is so bright. Also, Venus is the second largest terrestrial planet and is sometimes referred to as the Earth's sister planet due to their similar size and mass. Because it has a diameter of 12,100 km, that is 95% of the diameter of the Earth, wherein there are many similarities between the two planets, but there are also many more extreme differences. The rotations also of Venus is when an object spins once on its axis, and it rotates clockwise called retrograde. Rotation once every 243 Earth days, the slowest rotation period of any planet. It also takes almost 225 days to to travel once around the Sun in orbit, most circular orbit of all planets, because Venus, which is right next to Mercury, has the least eccentric orbit of any of the planet in the solar system. Its orbit ranges between 107 million km to 109 million km from the Sun and has an eccentricity of 0.007, giving a nearly perfect circle for its orbit.
So, for next planet, we have Miss Baby Joy Celino to discuss this part.
And now let's discuss about the Earth. So, first of all, what is the meaning of the name Earth? Based on my research, the name Earth is a Germanic word which simply means the ground. And ito yung tinatawag natin na terrestrial planet. Earth is a terrestrial planet because it is a small and a rocky. It is the third planet from the Sun in our solar system. It is the planet we evolved on and the only planet in our solar system that is known to support life. Bakit kaya? Kasi base sa aking research ay it is the only planet known to have an atmosphere containing free oxygen, oceans of water on its surface. And the Earth's atmosphere is composed of molecules, which is 21% of it are oxygen, 78% are nitrogen, and 1% are others. Earth average distance from the Sun is 149,590,800 km, and its diameter at the equator is 12,756.1 km, while its diameter at the poles is 12,713.5 km. The Earth also spins around its axis. This spinning makes the Sun appear to move from east to west across the sky. The Earth's surface is marked off into 24 standard time zones, and also Earth has a moon. And now let's proceed to Mars. So, what is Mars? Mars is a planet, of course, and it is the fourth planet from the Sun that is closest to it and the second smallest planet in the solar system. It is often called as the red planet. So, bakit kaya tinawag natin na red planet ang Mars? Because it is red because the soil looks like rusty iron. Kaya pala siya tinawag na red planet because of it looks like a rusty iron. And also relatively small. We have also few moons. The diameter of Mars is 6,792 kilometers. That makes the red planet about 53% of the diameter of Earth. Its rotation period is 24 hours, 30 minutes, and 35 seconds. And also Mars is much heavier than Mercury. And for the fifth planet, we have Miss Kimberly Dries to discuss this part.
Jupiter is the largest and massive planet. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. Its diameter is 139,820 km, and it is so big that even we combine all the planet together and mas makalaki siya kahit na pagsama-samahin natin yung mga 11 times na planet Earth. Take 12 years to orbit Sun. Given its considerable distance from the Sun, Jupiter spent the equivalent of almost 12 years completing a single circuit, the Sun. It has the shortest day in a solar system, and isang araw sa Jupiter, it only takes 10 hours. Jupiter has 53 moons. Ang Jupiter is meron siyang 53 moons at mayroong apat na pinakamalaki. Ito yung Io, Ganymede, and Europa. Tapos, Callisto. Ang unang naka-observe dito is si Galileo Galilei noong 1610 using early version of telescope. Ang pinakamalaking moon is yung Ganymede, and Ito yung pinakamalaking moon sa ating solar system. Mas malaki pa siya sa planet Mars. The second one is the Callisto, and it is the second largest moon in the Jupiter, at it is the third largest moon sa ating solar system. It is almost big as Mercury. The third one is the Europa, and ito naman is yung maliit na moon in the four Galilean moon orbiting the Jupiter, and ito yung pang-anim na pinakamalaking moon sa ating solar system. And the Io, it is the innermost, and ito yung pangatlo sa pinakamalaking moon in the Galilean moon.
So, next planet we have Saturn.
Saturn has many rings made out of ice that extended 260,000 miles from the surface but less than 1 mile thick. Saturn rings are thought to be pieces of comet, asteroids, or shattered moons that broke up before they reached the planet. It turns apart by Saturn's powerful gravity. They are made of chunk of ice and are coated with other materials such as dust. The ring particularly range from a tiny dust-sized icy grain to chunk as big as house. Although the other gas giant in the solar system like Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune also have rings, but those of Saturn are without a doubt the most extraordinary. The Saturn has 19 moons, and it takes about 29 years and 6 months to orbit the Sun, and almost 10 times bigger than the Sun. The diameter of Saturn is 72,400 miles or 116,460 kilometers. That is about 9.5 times bigger than the diameter of the Earth. The surface of Saturn is 83 times the area of the Earth, and the volume is 764 times the volume of the Earth. In other words, it will fit 764 planets the size of Earth inside the Saturn.
So, for the next planet, we have Miss Elliptico to discuss this part.
So now, let's move to planet Uranus. Uranus is the third gas giant planet of 4 in proximity to the Sun. Uranus is the 7th planet in our solar system. Uranus is an icy blue-green ball. Its blue-green color from methane gas in the atmosphere. Uranus is extremely far away from the Sun, residing at an average distance of 2.8 billion kilometers. Uranus has 27 known moons, and they are named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. The 27 known moons named as Titania, Umbriel, Oberon, Ariel, Miranda, Puck, Cressida, Desdemona, Perdita, Setebos, Estepano, Sycorax, Ophelia, Trinculo, Caliban, Cordelia, Mab, Juliet, Belinda, Portia, Margaret, Francisco, Cupid, Rosalind, Bianca, Ferdinand, and Prospero. It takes 84 years for Uranus to revolve around the Sun. Uranus is about 4 times wider than Earth. If Earth were a large apple, Uranus would be the size of a basketball. From an average distance of 1.8 billion miles, Uranus is 19.8 astronomical units away from the Sun. Uranus rotates once every 17 hours, 14 minutes, and 24 seconds as determined from the rate of rotation of its magnetic fields. Our last stop is planet Neptune. Neptune is the farthest planet from the Sun. It is the 4th largest planet in the solar system, and Neptune is about 4.5 billion kilometers away from the Sun. It takes 165 Earth years to go once around the Sun. Neptune is the coldest planet because it is the planet farthest from the Sun. The planet Neptune has 14 known moons, which are named for minor water deities in Greek mythology. Triton is the only spherical moon of Neptune. The other 13 moons are irregularly shaped, so that Triton is also unique in being the only large and only have enough mass to be spherical in shape. And lastly, Neptune is slightly smaller than Uranus with a diameter of 49,500 kilometers.
So this is now the end of our recorded report. Hope you learned something for today. Bye. Thank you for listening.